So let me continue in saying, having brought this information forward, we still have not had any action. We accessed the building last Friday, and having accessed the building Friday, Mr. Williams had since issued a threat, allegedly, that people should not go near this building, and anyone who comes near it will face significant consequences. I received a call last week outlining the devious plans that would have been set ahead of this week in an effort to create harm to myself and members of this hard-working community. We had put that out. We've made the report to the relevant authorities. The day that we were told that the planned attack would take place, our gate was removed. Yes, it was removed, and we suspect it's by members internally who are still affiliated to former Colonel Williams. We reported this, and guess what happened? The police came here on that night, and they came here. You saw the video I put out. I sent it to the Superintendent of Police of Black River. I sent it to the Sergeant Silo. I sent it to the Sergeant Magati. And when I put that video up, and when I sent the information out, that night, 2 units came into a compound, again, without notification. And what they came here for was alleged threats. Listen to this, people. Alleged threats being made by people affiliated with Chief Currie to members of this community. You know, listen to me. When I asked the officer, are you aware I've been in touch with the superintendent since day? Are you aware I've been sharing information on what? He said, no, he hasn't spoken to him and he's not really aware. He's not here for that. He's not here for that. Then what are you here for, officer? The Eagle man them where I get threat. The Eagle man them where I get threat. One of the officers issued a threat upon exiting a compound that wait till him catch one of them down a Santa. Right? Let me say this again, people. The police officer who came here on the information that people around me are issuing threats to persons, having put out the information, credible information. I have voice notes. I have people. I have the information. I'm not going to put it out here. I'm saying to you, if there are people out there who want to know more, I'm talking the media, I'm talking well-thinking minded individuals, come to a compound and I will share these with you. All the bloggers out there who want to blog and talk, you have no mission in life. You have no mission in life. There are good bloggers there, please, don't get me wrong. But I'm talking the ones who have their affiliations, who have their political motivations. You cannot harm me, because what is ordained cannot be stopped. The fact of the matter is, these people are hell-bent with their affiliates, including one external party, a man by the name of Dave Reed, who I know now, from what I understand, has gone off making claims that he was held against his will here in a compound. People, Mr. Reed came here under the guise of being a direct contact with the mining company. He's telling us that there's money there for us and that we deserve development. We wanted to understand what Mr. Reed was getting at and what he was proposing to us, because it seemed as if what he wanted to do was to continue an arrangement that was already in play before we got here. Mr. Reed came here. We met with Mr. Reed because the dinner that Mr. Reed planned had other intentions behind it. There was an entity that he registered in the United States that he made no one in a compound or in my administration aware of. He wanted to take pictures. He wanted my signature. And his mission, which he already had up on our website, was to go off and engage with international entities on behalf of the Maroons. We have now found out Mr. Reed is an affiliate of the government. We have connections and we have resources and we do use them. There are many good people out there who want to see good for the Maroons and have offered themselves in service to help us. So when I talk on behalf of those as well who are watching. When we say the world is watching, the world is watching. I've given a statement to the police in Black River. I've given a statement to Mocha in Kingston a year ago. Oh, and let me not forget Jamaica. After making that report to Mocha, I believe it was August of last year, 2 months later, Mr. Williams was awarded Order of Distinction by the Governor General. So let me remind you, we are standing, looking at an entity that was built with the facilities of monies we suspect have come from illicit means, which involves the world's most wanted man who visited here in a compound via private helicopter. This hurts. I'm going to show you something, people. Right? I'm going to open my file empty, right? I'm going to show you something. Stark is not about sovereignty, it's not about nothing, right? But since we're trying to discredit this good administration and the good people who are working behind it, this is the entity which the bank account was established under, right? A Compound Development Foundation Limited, 2005. This is the company's document which shows, you know, articles and how it was created, etc., etc. It shows the different people who were on it. It also shows the schedule and the objectives for which this association is established. Long-term sustainable development of a compound maroon village, especially as it relates to formulation of a 20-year development action plan, right? Just some of the things that's there, right? We talk about argument of maroon sovereignty and all these things. Let's not sidetrack the argument and the conversation, all right? Because there's a workable agreement that can be arrived at without the dialogue and the focus on sovereignty, right? Because they seem to use that to spread their own rhetoric as to what it is we're trying to achieve and what the mission and objective here is. Look at this document here, coming from Tax Administration of Jamaica. It says, sovereign state of a compound. Attention, sovereign state of a compound. There's your TRN number, right? So we have an entity that is registered. You go out there and try to register another entity with the name sovereign and you see what happens, right? This is the name that the bus that was given to us in 2019 by Minister Grange was registered under, the sovereign state of a compound, all right? So, I say this to say that. Gentlemen, bless up. I say this to say that we, the people, choose differently. The systems that have been put in place to address the indigenous people of the land do not serve us. We live in a land that highlights the efforts and works of indigenous people. Rastas have been recognized to a particular extent, but they still suffer today. We still suffer today. I have been libeled. I've been slandered against on the many things that people really have absolutely no understanding to the depths as to which we have had to go to preserve what we have left. I walked away from a perfectly good job and a comfortable life to come here to be more comfortable, to live a more fulfilling life, because I found my destiny. It was a calling. It was no motivation for no money. There's no money here when I came here. What I knew was going on was some, I don't even want to say the word, people, but I'm going to tell you, it did not serve us. We have witnessed where for the last 10 or 11 years, there's been no accountability in this community. No accountability, it's books, it's people, nothing. The hands externally have manipulated their ways. I'm not focusing on all of this because we know what has been happening. My mission has always been dialogue, dialogue, dialogue. Where do we cut the foolishness and get to fruitful dialogue? It has never come. The last 2 weeks has been instrumental because one, we again made another concerted effort to reach out. I did a speech on Independence Day, and really, I envisioned that at this point, having seen where the Prime Minister met with members of the Maroon Culture Group in Black River and expressed his own considerations as to the relationship that existed here, and even went on to say he's committed to come here for January 6th celebration next year. Now, we would have engaged with persons very close to the PM to try and have dialogue since then. And all that I'm hearing is that whenever my name comes up, he goes in a very dark place. Now, I'm saying, I don't have a personal issue with the Prime Minister. What I have is a problem with the relationship that exists. And then on top of that, the force at which the resentment to this request has come. Again, with all due respect, Prime Minister Lawness, I have a fiduciary duty to the people, the Maroon people, who elected and chose me, chose my council, my members, my body government, to represent their will. And if there are people in this community who continue to act on the motivations of external hands and ex-criminals, right, who've used their money to fund these illicit structures, which is unfinished, right, and people here serving them in that are fed to them. What good is living a life that is below the potential and the will to which it should be? We are dignified people. When the officers came, somebody asked, let me finish that story, right? The officers came and we expressed to them what was happening, the incident with Basil. Let me clear that up, right? Because of what happened when he turned away the investor, she came to me crying, literally crying. She has nothing to do with here. She's not from here. She didn't come here for this. She didn't want to expose her funders to this. This doesn't make sense for her. At that point, it was very difficult because then I had to lower myself into outlining the dirt that exists here in our community, which we rather not share. But like Mr. Basra, he will go on the Facebook, YouTube, whatever, and he'll air everything he feels he needs to air, so long as it has the ability to bring this administration down. He would have been warned on several occasions, publicly, right in the square where we have our town hall meetings, right by that light post where you see that little shop there, right? We'd have pulled him there twice in town hall meetings to address him and his outbursts, right? We would have spoken to him individually, right? Personally. Mr. Badra sees me, walks, he passes. If he walks and he passes me, come and he talks. But if he has a problem, or if he feels that there's something else that's there to be said, his medium of getting a note is a challenge to all the Maroon people. We would have seen him in years gone by, being very disrespectful, right? Not only to law enforcement, but also to the Prime Minister. Certainly not to the levels to which what is being said and spread around my own engagements with the Prime Minister. Mr. Basra was issued a letter on behalf of the full Maroon Council, which is traditional when we have issues within our communities. These are the structures that we use to support justice within our communities. That is why we've been so safe. When troublemakers are allowed to sit and fester, spread false information, and they bring nothing good to the people nor the community, I will not be here for another 3.5 years to try and prove to the people why investors aren't coming to a compound, or why we can't get things done in a compound. Mr. Basra was issued his orders. He doesn't live here. He's been catching in that unfinished building for the last 3.5, 4 years. Mr. Basra has scammed many people of their money here in a compound. Mr. Basra kicked his pregnant spouse and fled to a compound years ago. So when you all are out there jumping on the backs of someone who you think have the interest of Maroon people at heart, you are wrong. He's a politically motivated individual who falls under the auspices of Dennis Foster